All right, so today we're gonna look at props inside Motionbuilder, how to add simple props, how to animate props, and how to animate props using attach and detach uh, from a hand, basically. Okay, so I've downloaded this chicken off of just as a test. Um, it's animated as well. Nice. From Sketchfab, chicken rig. Right now the scale is way too big, so I'm gonna take the parent node. That's a weird naming. Okay, and just scale it down to normal size. Okay, I'll bring in like a character just to get some reference of the scale. I mean, we can always go in the front view and just scale it down to like maybe 20 centimeters. You know, this is 100 to 100, so probably 30 centimeters. It's okay. Let's bring in a character just to be on the safe side. Merge, no animation, and we can add the control rig for this guy to T-pose him. T-pose, and then move aside. Oops. Full body, release spinning, and okay, I can put that thing on. No passwords today. All right, that looks all right. That looks normal size chicken. Okay, so what are we gonna do? So the first thing we should do is create a marker. I mean, we can animate this like this. It's okay, but actually there's some animations on it, so I'm gonna try to delete it. Oh, okay, I forgot to key because there's keys on it. The scale was not factored in because I didn't key it. Okay, so what are we gonna do? Let me see what the animation looks like. I'll keep it. I'll keep it. So I just want to create a layer and scale down again. Okay, I could have always went into the F curve and deleted the scale value, but this is quicker. Okay. That's too small. You can put it to 1 here. Yeah. So now we have 1 on XYZ, and then key. Problem is, right now, if you look in key controls, the values that I'm keying is only translation rotation. Okay, so when I scrub, she will go back up the scale. So what I need to do is I need to switch. If you encounter this problem, you cannot animate the scale. Normally you don't want to animate the scale because it's a bit problematic, unless you have a character that's scaling up in size. If you're not able to keyframe scale, that's what you need to do. You need to switch the TR. If it's at TR and not body part, you need to switch it to TRS for translation rotation scale. Okay, so I'll put back the ones and then I'll key it. So now this key has translation, rotation, and scale. Okay, so I want to turn this skeleton or rig into something that I can animate inside my scene. So the best way to do it is you go in templates, elements, and marker, just drag and drop. Marker has settings. You can customize the look of the marker. You guys remember, this is the same kind of the same technique when I showed you how to deal with layouts. You know, you have like 50 pieces for your background, your layout. You create a marker, and then you make all those 50 pieces child of that marker, so you can move the marker around if you have to. I usually like hard cross and scale it up a little bit. Scale the size. And then I align it to the parent joint. Okay, so hold down Alt, left mouse click and drag, and then align translation rotation. That's good. And then let's see the rotation. Yeah, so 0, 0. If this joint had a rotation value, it will probably apply it on the marker. So just be careful that your rotation and translation are 0, 0 in here, in global. So now I can take this node, the parent node, right, and parent it to the marker, okay? Hopefully, because it's animated, it might not work, so we'll have to see. Okay, I'm gonna save my scene before I forget. And desktop, FBX, awesome. Props, tutorial. Notice I didn't name it week 6 or week 5 because it's not an assignment. It's just showing you how to deal with props. Okay, so I will now parent the joint to the marker. Hold down Alt, select the joints, hold down Alt, and click and drag to the marker. So now I can rotate and move the chicken. Okay, so you can scale it too if you want, but preferably, let me see if I can scale it. Yeah, you can scale it. So now if you, for example, you decide, oh, I don't like this chicken, I want a different color or a different shape or more cartoony or something, you can delete the chicken by selecting, this node, the top node. You know, you select it like this with the mesh, delete, but your animation is still saved on this, right? Your keys are still on this, so that's the advantage of animating the marker. So yeah, you can translate. Just gonna switch to frames. Switch to frames. Again, I'm keying TRS, translation rotation. And you can move, rotate, do whatever you want. No, I'm not expecting you to do walk cycles like that. That's if you want to animate stuff like that. Like imagine it's a car, imagine it's an animated whatever trash can or whatever you need, right? So you would build your story mode on the characters, on the biped characters, and animate the props like this outside of story mode. Okay, to get your camera, because you need to do the camera composition, you know, the framing and everything. So if your scene requires a chicken or a car, that's how you deal with it. Okay. I'll show you another way to link objects similarly before I jump into the complicated stuff. So I have a hat here, right? Cowboy hat. Okay, I'm gonna merge that in. Merge no animation. So the cowboy hat is already set up with a marker or a null. Let me see. Yeah. So let me put two viewports so we see the schematic and the mesh, right? Yeah. So we have the mesh and we have the null. Again, same reason, either a null or a marker. Okay, so now you need to, the simplest way to, let's say your character needs a hat, the simplest way to attach it to a character is this. I'll show you in a minute. I just need to position it properly. Actually, you can probably align it to make it really center. You can align it to the control head control bone, which is this one, head effector, and then offset it in height. Okay, so what I'm going to do, select the null. If it's too big, you can probably scale it too, right? There's no animation on this, so the scale is respected. It stays. You can key it if you want, just for the, you know, to set your mind at ease. So I'm going to align it to the head bone, head effector. I will only use, okay, so if I use transition rotation, it will probably flip upside down. No, it's not bad. Okay, so they created the marker aligned kind of to the head bone, so it is correct, so you don't have to worry about it. But chances are you don't need to align. I'm gonna freeze the hat mesh so I don't keep selecting it, and maybe the character as well. You don't need to always use rotation scales, align rotation position. You can do this as well. So you can align just the position, just the rotation, or position and rotation. So you can do this as well. Maybe the scale is too small now. So that looks good. It's centered. If I go front view, right view, that looks good. Even perspective looks good. Okay, so now if I move the head, it doesn't follow, right? So the simplest way to link it is hold down Alt, and click and drag to the head effector and go parent. Okay, so now if I move the head, it follows. That's the simplest way. You know, if your character always has that hat, on during your previs and he doesn't want to take it off, that's the easiest way to link props. If he has a, let's say, a knife or anything, a cup, whatever. So that's the simplest way to deal with props, other than animated prop. Obviously, the animated prop is you have to animate it. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to deal with. Okay, so before I show you that, just between brackets. So these two props you can deal with at the same time as you're building your story mode film. Okay, you can do them at the same because they're simple. Okay, so you need your chicken to do your cameras and framing, composition. It's part of the film. This is easy as well. It's just attached on your character the whole time. What I'm going to show you next is for later. Let's say you're animating. Let's say you're animating again a guy picking up a ball and throwing. Okay, you don't need to do it at the same time. This can come after you're done with story mode. Okay, the reason is dealing with story mode and dealing what I'm going to show you next is a little bit complicated. So if you have an animated prop, you know, you're throwing a ball or whatever it is, leave it till 3 weeks from now. When you're done your story mode, we bake outside of story mode, and then you can add those props, those animated props that are not crucial to your camera framing and composition. Okay, I hope it's clear. Any questions? I know it's a little bit confusing. Is it clear? Okay, I hope so. Because again, these are easy things. This one is a must, and this one is easy, so you can do it from the as you're setting up your story mode stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna show you now how to deal with animated props once you're there in 3 weeks. Okay, so I'll be using a couple of clips. Pickup keys. Let's see what that looks like. Turn on story mode. Okay, that's not bad. And then I'm gonna use the throw, rocket throw. So imagine this is my little previs that I'm doing with my 300 frames. 10 seconds? I think 10 seconds. 287 divided by 30. Yeah, roughly that's 9.5. So imagine this is my amazing film. I wish I had time like you guys. So I'm gonna match this clip to the previous clip. Okay, he's kind of on the side, so maybe I wanna rotate this. I can rotate this one, or I can try to match it. Yeah, maybe I'll match hips to next clip. Let's see what that does, and keep on rotation. at, at the start of the next clip. So position, rotation, hips to the next clip. So I'm gonna rotate this. So he's gonna pick it up on the side and then get ready and throw. Okay, I wanna fix the blending here. So he steps back a little bit. I don't think we need that step back, so maybe I'll try to trim it. I think he's idling too much here, so we can trim the idle. As he's settling, he can start anticipating, so maybe we can trim a little bit more just to overlay the action. Maybe cut a little bit more. Let's see what that looks like. It's not bad. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, my hat. We can fix the hat later. Why did the hat fly off like this? Oh, it's even bad here. That's strange. Okay. Well, let's see after we bake if it's gonna be fine. Normally it shouldn't affect it. Frame start end. Could be a little bit faster. That's fine. For the purpose of this tutorial, I think it's fine like this. Just want to see what happened to the hat. Okay, so I can bake now and start adding my start adding the prop. Because like I said, don't try to do it at the same time, leave it till later. So imagine like within 3 weeks from now, I'm ready to bake. So what do? I just bake on the control rig. Bake to control rig. Or use the key here. Key control animation bake. I did or didn't. It didn't. Why? Okay. You know what? I'll just use key control. I don't know why it's just use plot. Plot selected. Make sure you're in full body. Plot selected. Now, if I deactivate story mode, we have all the motion. Okay, so what's going on with the hat? I don't know why. It's not even keyed. There's only one key, the scale key. Anyways, doesn't matter. I'll have to investigate that later. So again, you can leave the prop till the end, right? There's like these kind of props, the hat accessories, if you wanna, which is always attached to the character. You can leave that till the end, or in 3 weeks' time. If, like, for example, he has a big, whatever, big sombrero hat or something that you need to frame the camera accordingly, you should do it in the beginning. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna add the ball. merge, no animation. It's a huge ball. So this ball, so this ball doesn't have a marker, okay? So what do? We scale it down to normal size. So let's say we can place it there for reference to see if it's going to fit in his hand, and then create the marker. Okay, that's not a bad size, right? I'll go in front view just to see if it's flush on the ground. Okay, that's good. So now I create a marker, just like before. Marker, templates, elements, marker. You don't, you probably, okay, so if you get this issue, you don't see it, it's because you're in models only. You need to be in normal view or X-ray view. Hard cross, let's try 3. Number of the beast. Sounds good. It's an Iron Maiden song. Those you Maiden fans. Okay, so now we can link the mesh to the marker parent, and now we can animate it. Okay, so the next step, I want to show you how to attach it to the hand here, and then on the throw detach it. Okay, so in Motionbuilder, there's a bunch of constraints in here. Templates, constraints. You can do this multiple ways, but the easiest way, the easiest manageable way, is to do it with something called multi-referential. What that is you can have an object that has multiple parents. So in this case, it's attached to the world or itself. At some point, it will attach to the right hand, and then on the throw, it will go back to itself. It's going to be attached to the world. So that's what I mean by multiple parents. So if I drag this one, multi-referential, inside the scene, you don't see anything. You'll have to go in Navigator, Constraints, and this is where you have the settings. So I'll just rename this to ball, because in case you have multiple props, okay, ball, multi-referential ball to hand, okay, so just to be on the safe side. So rigid body, probably some of you will remember the C3D. It's not the same thing. It's a weird name here. What it means, rigid body, is what is the child, or what is the constrained object that's following the parent. In this case, it's the marker, so we want the marker to follow the right hand, which is the right hand effector on the control rig. And to activate this, you need to click snap. Okay, so you would think that this is all you have to do and it's going to follow, but it's not the case. There's still one small step you need to do. Be careful, don't click 0 or lock. You can click lock Actually, no, don't click lock, because if you click lock, you won't be able to move the marker anymore. So now the marker is child of the right hand, okay? But you need to tell this marker on when does it attach to the hand and when does it detach, okay? So if you click on the marker, in here, key control, ref, okay? This is what the multi-referential means. So that's where you can key the parent, okay? So by default, the marker itself is the driver or the parent. And what we need to do, we need to go to the frame where it's supposed to attach to the hand. So probably around, somewhere around here. And all you have to do is, actually, we key one frame before attaching to key the marker so that it follows itself. On this frame, we switch to the right hand. As you can see here, it creates keys. So these keys are the keys of the multi-referential. Okay. If you look in the F curve, we're supposed to see it here for some reason. Underline properties. Yeah, this is strange. We need to select this. No. Oh yeah, okay. So you need to, the keys are on the multi-ref constraint, not on the marker itself, if you want to see the keys. Anyways, just make sure, I mean, you don't need to key the, you don't need the F curves technically, but if you want to see them, you need to select the constraint itself. Okay, so now if we scrub, hey, it follows the hand, and at some point we want it to, oops, release. So right somewhere around here, you can key it again here for the hand, and then on here we go back to the marker itself, so it's probably going to stay, right? That's it. So that's how we do it. So now imagine you want to key this. So let's say the chicken kicks it. We can change it to the chicken. Let's try something fun here. Okay, animate something for fun. So I can probably animate this now. Because it's linked to itself, okay, this key is actually has translation rotation as well, so I forgot to say this. So because it's animated, the parent is by itself. Any key you put before this key will actually animate, right? So let's say, imagine the chicken comes in and let's say kicks the says bet. The cowboy's bet. The chicken. The cowboy with the chicken. Now in here we can animate it as well. Let's try it. So again here, if you want to see the type of key, you can go in the F curves and see those keys, right? You can use now auto key to create a nice curve of the ball. You can probably do better than that, better than me at it. Just put another key here, maybe. Yeah, you can do better than that. So let me see if I can improve the curve on this. So I'm gonna try to put the if I change this to auto, yeah, it's a little bit better. Well, we can probably change the curve here. X. Ooh, why is it stepped? Are they all stepped? No, just the X. Well, we need to change the Z. So let's see. Yeah, see, it's dipping here. So we're gonna need to. Oh, it's not this key. It's this key. Let's check out what it looks like. Just to make it a little bit faster, I'm gonna just concentrate on this section. Not sure we need this key. Or oh no, I'm moving the. What's wrong with me? I forgot to animate. How to animate. So the Y is good. You can just bring it up a little bit. The Z, that's where we need to work. I doubt that we need this. Let's see what it looks like without. So we can definitely try this. something like this. X is, I don't think it could be straightforward. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Yeah, it's that dip in the beginning. I can try to fix. I think this might have to be higher, so we can definitely. Yeah. There we go. It's falling flat a little bit here, so you can have fun with the something like that. Okay. That's pretty much it. So now you know you can do your camera stuff in story mode with the chicken in mind. And you know the animated prop you can do after you're done your story mode, right? I did have a note. So a lot of you in your films have creatures in them. Just be careful what creatures you use. Don't choose like a quadruped creature because you're going to be animating quadrupeds. I don't want you to overkill yourself. You know, animating quadrupeds is not an easy thing for first years. Choose like a zombie character or type of creature that's biped, you know, a zombie or you know like a werewolf that's biped or something like that. Don't choose a quadruped because it's gonna be. You can probably sell it with just moving the quadruped around, but you know, at the end of the semester, I put your clips on YouTube as a showcase, like I did with last year. So choose something that you can easily do, and that looks presentable, you know. I'll show you one more thing before we break. This how to apply textures. So if you need any questions on the props, by the way, is there something some of you need that I didn't cover for props? Oh, there's something in the chat. Well, so much. Anything I can cover during now for the props? Just say so. Okay, so if you need to apply, let's say, text in your scene. Let's say you have your character is yelling something, or let's say you have a book that with a specific text on it or something like that. I'll show you how to, and you can really find it online on Sketchfab. You need to create it yourself. So let's say, what kind of props do we have here? Sorry, I didn't prepare for this very good. Let's see what's here to kind of nightstand. Oh, okay. visible. See what that looks like. So we have this nightstand. So imagine, let's say you want some text on it. Okay. Sorry guys, my daughter, every time she forgets that I have a class. So let's say there's a, oh, let's say you want, there's a book on here, or you want to do a book that has specific text on it. So I'll create a box. The shape of a, I don't know why I needed a nightstand. I don't think I needed a nightstand. Okay. So imagine like this is the book. I'll create a simple texture. You guys probably have Photoshop. I'll try to create one with an alpha channel, so you can get some transparency. I'll try that. It might work. Krita is a Photoshop open source equivalent. It's free. So if you guys want to download it at home and do some Photoshop stuff, try it out. Okay, so new file, 16 by, it's a little bit big, predefined. Yeah, but more than enough. Those of you just joining, I just was showing everybody some props tutorials. This is not the assignment for next week. I'm just showing props tutorial for people that need props in their scene and how to deal with them. I'll be posting that video on my channel if you need it. The assignment for next week is part 1 of your film in story mode. So please read through the suggestions. So the next 3 weeks will be your film inside story mode. Okay. So it could be part 1, could be act 1, or just a layout. I have some suggestions in each assignment, so I'll leave it up to you, but all I want to see is for the next 3 weeks progression. So part 1 needs to be 33%, part 2 66, and part 3 is 100% of your film inside story mode. All the motions blending nicely, no pops, no, you know, like characters popping between each camera, and your camera, obviously. Okay. The reference is this assignment. if you guys remember, with the floating island and the two characters, the gremlin and the other guy. But that was 6 seconds. You need to do your whole film, the approved script, by the end of part 3. But you need to submit 33% here, 66% here, 100%. Okay? All right, so what's the max? 1 minute, yeah. 1 minute, including credits. It's okay, credits can go a little bit over, you know, credits is your title card, your name of the film, and your name in the beginning. Then at the end, the credits where you got your characters and the layout. We need to do that to respect, you know, copyright, whatever. You know, if you use stuff from Sketchfab, please keep the notes down who created the artists, so you can include it at the credits section. What would you suggest to begin with? Should we go shot by shot or just roughly start working on the entire thing? I mean, from last year, it depends. Like, think about it. Whatever is easier for you. I don't mind if you do want to do Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. You could do that. The advantage of doing it from A to Z is you know how much time is it gonna take, so you know roughly if you're breaking the one limit or not. You see? So if you maybe want to focus on one character, let's say for part 1 and 2, and get all the cameras and all the motions for one character, and then on the side you think about the second character, you could do that, because then you can kind of know where to cut and where you have a lot and it's not gonna fit the 1 minute. You'll find out as you start. You know, the most important thing is to start, and you can poke me for help, saying, oh, maybe I feel like this is too long, what do you think? I can give you suggestions. How do you keep our timelines clean? Should we do each act on separate timeline? What do you mean by timeline? You mean the FBX? Yeah. These ones here? You can split the FBX if you want. Let's say Act 1, you could be 1 FBX, so you don't mess up, because you're going to be moving around these clips, right? You're going to be like, oh, I'm not sure, I need a transition here, so you're going to move this and put another one transition here. So you know how they do it in the movie business is each shot is a separate Maya scene. So you can work like that too. If you want to, let's say Act 1 is 1 FBX, and then you nail it down. You leave it aside for rendering later, and then save it as Act 2, and then keep working on another. So this way you have Act 1 ready when you're ready to render, and then stitch the rendering in Premiere after from the different FBX files. Did that answer your question, Jessica? Yeah. So I don't mind if you guys want to split the FBX files, just to, you know, keep yourself sane and don't have to deal with moving clips around and messing your previous or next timelines. I don't mind if you want to split them. Probably easier if you split them. And always save in increments. This way, if something happens, you crash, you have a previous one. Try to do increments every maybe an hour or 2 hours. This way you have a backup. Okay. Okay, let me see if I can. All right. So I want this to be black. I haven't done this in a while. Sorry, guys, if I feel like an amateur. So black. Uh, yes. Woohoo. And I'm gonna add text here. Where's my color? Text. It didn't work. Is it because? Hmm. It's supposed to give me a color of the text. Pencil. Where's the pencil? Let's go with that. I don't know. I can't figure out the text, how to write text. So I'll save this as a TGA because I remember TGAs have alpha channels. It uses the alpha channel as the black color is an alpha channel, so I'm gonna try that. I haven't done alpha channels in a long time. Test.pga. Saving in CGA will lose information from your image. What kind of information? Yes, okay. Oh, it's probably this one. This one. Whatever. Let's see what that thing looks like. Is it gonna launch a TGA? Okay, that's correct. So now, if I drag this TGA on the cube, attach texture, that's all you have to do. Just drag and drop the texture to the object, and a little pop-up will assign diffuse. And you're gonna get this squiggly thing. It's out of place because the size of the cube doesn't match the size of the textures. But what you could do in here, textures, test. This is the texture we assign, and then you can play with the UV map of the object. Okay, of the texture. Sorry, of the texture on the object. So you can scale it. Just to get, well, let's say 3 by 3. Then you can move it around a little bit just to get what you need. Obviously, it's in 2D, so you can rotate it too. Just to get a good placement of it, whatever you need. Okay. No, doesn't work. Okay, so I'm gonna try. So that's how you get a texture on an object if you need it. Before we break, I'm gonna try to apply a shader. So let's say you don't want the black to be present, it's just the white stuff, just the white text. I'm not sure it's going to work, but it's worth a shot. So to be able to add transparency, the texture itself needs an alpha channel, usually TGAs. Usually TGAs, the black is the alpha channel, so I'm just gonna try it super quick. Not the second one. No, it's not dynamic. Lighted shader transparency. So now if I apply this, use append, so it will add the shader to it, and you change accurate transparency and it doesn't work. Okay, it must be something else. It might be the texture that it doesn't save with the okay, forget about append. No, it is append. It is append. It's just that's not what I want. I want the black to disappear. I'll have to research that a little bit. I haven't done it in a while, so I'll get some info if somebody needs to apply a texture with a transparency. I'll look it up over the weekend to see how we're gonna do this. Does anybody needs this, by the way? Shout it out. No? Okay. I'll try to get that info anyway. I'm curious as well. Haven't done it in a while. All right. Anything else before we break and I close the video? No? Going once, twice? All right.